Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome. Well, it's the 3rd round of the SRF Weekend Warriors presented by RaceVoice, coming to you live from Red Bull Ring on Apex Racing TV this week, and what a series it has been so far. So, last week out we were at Road Atlanta and round 1 was Tsukuba. We saw plenty of action at both rounds and Aeronome was the victor so far, making it 2 from 2. Can he do the same tonight? It's going to be interesting. So I'm Tim Cox. I'm joined by Bill Knight in the commentary booth tonight, and we have Jonathan Grabowski, who's running production and cameras for us. It's going to be an absolute great night. Bill, I understand you're obviously welcome along. It's your first time here at Apex Racing TV. I understand you've got a bit of a skin in the game in terms of the, this format, Picari in particular, the Ford Spec Racer.
I do, in fact, and thank you guys for having me on board. It's going to be a real pleasure. This is a series I've watched for many years and participated in this car initially on my first entry into iRacing. I drove this car for many years, so really happy to be here and being part of this broadcast, and especially at this new circuit that just came online at iRacing. I've raced here in other categories recently, and it is an absolutely stunning good racetrack. I think we're going to have incredible action here in a packed field in Spec Racer Ford.
Lovely stuff. So to just bring you up to date with the championship standings as they stand currently, as you can imagine, with 2 race wins from 2, we've got Aeronome who's currently top of those standings right now, but it's going to be incredibly close, and be interested to see if any of the drivers can try and knock him off that top step of the roster right now. So we've got qualifying that's just coming to an end. At the moment, we've got the Italian Marco Panero is currently top of the standings right now as we stand, and I think my system is just playing a few tricks on me right now. Just wait and see on the championship standing. So bear with me. There we go. You see them on screen for yourself now. Yeah. So to mention, Aeronome top, and we've got David Bohm in second. The Selly's third. See some great drives from all of those top three. Jeff Ritzer had a absolutely brilliant time out last time at Road Atlanta in fourth. Nico Shooks fifth. Mirasek sixth. Elson is joint sixth with him. John Payne is eighth. Cox, great name. Not that I'm biased at all. Sharing the same surname, completely unrelated. Hit his knife, and Jeff Jacobson. He is currently in 10th position within the series. So, Spec 2, just waiting for those to come up. Bear with me. System of a few gremlins in the system clearly, so apologies about this. While we wait for. There we go. So, bear with. Here we go. So, sorry about this. So, in Spec 2, we've got Dudu Castro is leading that series, and Darlo close behind in second. Great to see how Hitton and also Dantas in third gets on tonight. Only 9 points separating our top three in Spec 2. Then we've got Tusting, Brain running up the top 5, followed by Gibson, Favini, Bradshaw, McGuinness, and Jin rounding out your top 10. Then across to Masters, we've got Stevie Ray, the league's organizer. He's currently leading the way in Masters. We've got Tom Gradwell, only 16 points behind him, and Antonio Reese in third. Then we've got Kurt Nunez, who's nipping at the heels of Antonio Reese. And then we've got Bob Kern in fifth. Cantor is sixth. Murakami is seventh. And Doherty rounds out the standings for Masters. So it's going to be definitely an interesting night. So the drivers suggest that they've undertaken qualifying. They've now got a 5-minute warm-up. Just as a bit of a transition between the qualifying and the race getting away. So in terms of proceedings tonight, it's 40 minutes race. The drivers are limited to 50% fuel. So that we'll be needing to take a pit stop. We saw drivers last week out of Road Atlanta leaving it incredibly late to take their stops, some of them. So similar type of track in terms of length. Red Bull Ring, one of the shortest circuits that is grade 1 listed, FIA grade 1 listed, so it's going to be definitely interesting. Of course, we've got a long drag all the way up to turn 2 in some people's books, but it's actually classed as turn 3. To see Favini, Swede heading up there now. It's that's clink to the left there just before turn 3. It's classified as turn 2 due to the motorbikes that race here, where they have to take it as a physical turn. Well, Bill, on track. Whereabouts can we expect action to occur tonight, do you think?
Well, in my experience, this racetrack, turn 1 is a primary passing zone, and then turn 3, which I call Remus, but some call now the AMS AG turn, is also a great opportunity. Roach can be a place where you can make things happen, which is down in turn 4, but it can be really tricky to get it done there. And then don't be surprised when you see people making passes off of turn 8 and down into turn 9, Jacques and Rent. A lot of opportunity there as well.
Definitely, it's one of the advantages to this track. Obviously, these Ford Spec racers really benefit from the slipstream and absolutely love it. And that long drag up to turn 3, it's going to give them plenty of opportunity to get pedal to the metal and get some moves in, and I'm sure it's going to get a bit spicy for the first few laps. And likewise, as you say, Bill, into turn 1. We'll see if we can bring up for you the qualification results just while we're waiting for the drivers. They've got around about a minute left of their warm-up session, and we'll bring you through those. There you go, you've got them on screen. Bill, do you want to run us through the qualifying results?
Sure. On the pole position, Marco Pinero, if I have that name correct, with a 145, 136. Brandon Roseborough in the second spot. These are both Spec 1 drivers. Maurizio Naselli in the third spot. Hero Nam, the winner of the 2 previous rounds, in fourth. That's a surprise there, guys. Tim Van Doormelen and the number 20 in the 5th spot, and then our first Spec 2 driver, Dudo Castro, who's been dominant in that class over the last few seasons, in 6th. Piotr Misurek, and you guys please help me out when I massacre these names.
That's all right, don't worry.
Jeff Fritcher in 8th, Simon Mayer 9th, Dan Sadro, a friend, an iRacing friend there that I did not know was going to be here today. Dan Sadro in the 10th place. Stephen Elson in 11th, Evandro Dantas 12th, Jory Cox, is that right, in 13th? Aiden Campbell 14th, Jason Perry 15th, Jeff Jacobson 16th, and moving on to the next screen. Tim, do you want to take that, or are we done with that?
Yes. There we go. Just wait for it to update. So there we go. So we've got Benjamin Foster's 19th, Tom Gradwell alongside the company. Oh, let's just put this there. There we go. It's just flickering around a little bit. There we go. There we go. So we've got the grid up for you now. As you see, as the drivers all line up, obviously they'll head out shortly behind the Porsche 911 safety car. So yeah, we've got obviously, I think we've got down to about Elson is 11th with Dantas alongside the company in 12th. Just move the grid along shortly, and we can. There we go. So yeah, Cox has got Campbell for company, then Perry and Jacobson, and Darlow 17th with Favini in 18th. Forster with Gradwell 19th, 20th. Then we've got Gibson and Doherty, McGuinness and Breen in 23rd and 24th. Sanchonelli has Tustings alongside the company. Bill Pichik. Santiago is alongside on 28th. Jesus Rodriguez 29th. Paul Jackson 30th. Kuhn and L'Oreal 31st and 32nd. Longin and Eel. And then Kamara rounds out our grid. A nice big chunky grid tonight. 35 full spec racers.
Yeah.
Around the Red Bull ring. What could go wrong, Bill? What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, yeah. This many cars on this short little bull ring of a track. I mean, it does have some places where you can stretch these cars out, but it's going to be exciting to see how this rolls out. And especially with Aero Nom, the dominant driver, a little further back in the field this time. I think this is going to be exciting stuff.
Here we go. Get ready as the cars come round the last corner. Red Bull Mobile corner. And they are off. And it's a great start from Pinero. Really countering off into lead. Really maximising. Getting the jump on Roseborough, who's now under attack from the Estonian Nom. He's already made up one place, and I can hear a bit of, we've got contact in the background. Yep. A sea of 4 spec racers as everyone tries to get round the stranded Dan Sadro. So unlucky there. We'll cut back to a replay in a bit of exactly how that unfolded down in turn 1. But right now, drivers just making their way round turn 3 for the first time there. And currently Pinero, half a second clear of the American Roseborough. However, look, you've got the Aero Nom just looming in the background there. You can see him in 3rd place. Championship leader in the Spec 1 series, and I'm sure he won't be there for much longer. We've seen numerous times, and we've got a replay. This is of the start. We've got Sadro just in the middle of the screen there. Let's take a look. Did he get a bit of a tap? It was getting very, very close, and yes, he did, and that sent him spinning round, and just luckily only, I think, just one car collected as he's stranded in the middle of the circuit there. Everyone just managing to get round him, and Bill, what a start. We knew it'd be lively, but
yeah, unfortunate for Dan. He's a former front runner in this series in past seasons, so I'm sure he's quite upset at the moment that he's making a one-off here and does not start off the way he wants. But we'll see what kind of recovery drive he can do. He's a really quick guy in this car, so we'll keep an eye out for Sadro as they make their way through this 40-minute race.
Yeah, we've already 1 lap completed. And currently Panero out in the lead, but Roseborough is closing in on him. Got a nice little battle shaping up further down the field for 10th place. Currently, Simon Mayer just been cut a little bit adrift of the cars ahead of him. He's got Dantas up front. Just looking back from Mayer at the moment. He's got that's Campbell behind him, and then he's got the Brazilian Andalo, who's looking to potentially make a move. He's getting really, really close onto the back of Campbell, but I think he's going to be a little bit too far behind. But can he get the big traction coming off turn 3? The key on that corner is to actually miss the apex and just head around, so you can get a lot more grip. Oddly, makes a change. I'm not personally normally quite good at missing the apex, just any corner, but that's one corner I have the excuse for. But we've got Jacobson, he's got a little train. We've got trains up and down the field of drivers, tightly clustered together. So he's just trying to find some space, and that's Andalo getting ahead of Mayer there, Bill. And actually,
that was a nice clean move. Yeah, very good.
He's lost a couple of places there. Actually, looking at it, he was ahead of Aidan Campbell, but as he's just dropped a couple there, unfortunately. But we've still got plenty of time left, and that order will not stay as it currently is as we head back to the lead. Panero, as we ride on we've got Roseborough riding on board with currently. You can see the gap there. That is what 2 tenths looks to you guys at home from the driver's perspective as they head down to turn 1 now, hard onto the brakes. The sweeping left-hander taking as much as you can the inside, trying to avoid that sausage curb that's on the left-hand side. Well, we've got, here we go, Roseborough setting him up. He's heading to the outside. Panero's going to go defensive on that inside line. But thanks to the drag the American has got, he's already got the move done well ahead of time. Just a little bit further back there.
Yeah, look at this stack up behind them, man. We've got for 4th, 5th, and 6th guys, and 7th right there. They were 3 wide coming down into turn 1 in that lap. So that's a lot of action in that front pass.
Castro, wow, this is showing just how close Castro is to Naselli. He's at nearest damn it inside the gearbox there, and it's getting really, really tight at the front end. No driver wanting to give each other an inch as the fight, but during that battle you can see Naselli and that little group he's got behind him have just dropped off our turn 3 as we start to see some gaps emerge now, Bill, on lap 3.
Yeah, this section of the track, I think you'll watch, you will see a lot of different lines through that section of the track there. In several races that I've done on the track, you see people really take some different lines through there. Some of them are trying to get the car in early and get side by side. Other people are kind of opening things up and trying to get a run down into turn 4 in Roach. But a lot of action I think you'll see in that section down there.
Definitely, it's one of the beauties of the Red Bull Ring. It does provide action a lot of the track, as we're seeing right now. This is getting so close. Sadro, after that spin earlier, on a bit of a recovery drive up to 27th place. Disappointed. Wow, look at the run he's got. Yep. Here we go. They're going to go 3 wide on the run down to turn 1. And Sadro, look at that slingshot he's got. Is this going to be 3 cars?
Yeah,
on one straight. Wow. What a move from Dan Sadro, the American, making absolutely epic moves, and this car scattered across the track, lining up a little bit like the animals did onto Noah's Ark, going 2 by 2, and they've just sort of spread out a little bit, but almost a little bit 3 wide in the background. Yeah. There's, I think that's Jackson Rodriguez. Sadro comes onto the brakes now, and wow, they're getting incredibly close here, Bill. It's hard to know where to look.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this series, and one of the reasons I'm so happy to be able to commentate on it is because they do have racing all the way through the field for the entire 40 minutes. The 3-class structure works so good in this car. It's already a momentum car, so you're going to see really tight racing all the time anyway. But then when you add in the 3 different categories and you've got those 3 different classes racing for their race wins, it really adds up to a great format.
So it's well worth mentioning, just in case it kicks off quickly, thank you to our sponsors for the race tonight, RaceVoice. We haven't mentioned them yet. They're a simple way to transform complicated performance data into easy to understand voice notification and alerts. You customize it to things like upshift, downshifts, overrun alerts, turn-in points, absolutely everything. And well worth heading across to those guys to check them out. And last time around, well worth mentioning, Aero 9. Championship leader. He set the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:45.6. Definitely utilising the slipstream, the drag. He's able to get off those two cars in front of him. Panero, who did lead the race initially, but right now it's the American Roseborough as they head round turn 3 there.
I gotta ask Tim. I mean, I'm very surprised that Gnome has not shown any interest in passing these guys. I mean, he definitely has the speed, as you just showed, but he really is not even showing them their nose at all. It seems like he's perfectly content to stay where he is right now. Do you agree?
Yeah, it does. We've seen this from Aero Gnome before, though, in this championship, where he's almost sit behind. He's currently. Oh, we've got a replay here. Here's Simon Meyer. Let's see what happens to him. Does he go? Oh, just overrotated the car a bit, and just clipped from behind a little bit there, Bill.
Yeah, I think he clipped the curb actually, and then the car behind him got into him when he started to spin. That's just my take on it anyway.
I think that's maybe part of the trouble with these cars, because like you say, they're a momentum car, and I mean, personally, I can't drive this car for toffee. I struggled with it, and then obviously the update came along about a season or two ago, and I thought, no, I'll give it another go. You know, having a bit of success in the Porsche 911, being a similar sort of format with the engine in the rear of the car, and still couldn't get it round, so gave up with it. But obviously, you know, once you're into a, you know, coming up behind the car in the corner.
This is one of my favorite cars on the service, because you drive it with the throttle as much as you do anything, and that kind of you know, doesn't make sense because it's a really low horsepower car, but the chassis really responds to throttle inputs, and for me it's just a joy to drive these things.
That is Bill Piszczek making his way past Paul Jackson there, and that's left Jackson a bit vulnerable to the two cars behind him. He's got Longin and Rodriguez tucked up right behind him. I think maybe a little bit too far back to make a move on the run down to turn 1. But however, Jackson's not going to let it go. And what a move around the outside. Piszczek thinking he's got that inside line covered off. However, as it playing into Piszczek's hand, he's now going to get that slipstream on the run up to Remus. Here we go, everyone. Let's see how this one pans out. They're going to almost look. They're going to try and go 3 wide potentially. It's a Remus. Jackson having to take that defensive line. Oh wow! Did well not to collect the spinning Bill Piszczek there. And that could have been so much more disaster for the drivers there, Bill.
I think he just lost that on his own. I did not see any contact. I'd love to see a replay if we can get that later, because I really don't understand how he lost the car there. Man, those guys were super lucky to get by him without contact.
I don't know how they quite managed it, really.
I don't. Yeah.
All while this has been going on, just look, the train from the top 3 has now got Naselli joined them. As here we go, we've got the Bill Piszczek replay. Let's on the run up to Remus even. Let's see what happened. There we go. It's got a little bit.
He just spun it. Yeah. Just spun it.
It is a tricky corner with that, where it's got such an elevation change mid-corner, and it's what pays you within that corner. Just seems to be to just miss the apex, because you don't get caught out by it so much there, Bill.
Yeah, you have to roll a lot of speed through that corner to be quick on this racetrack. So the cars are really on the edge at the apex. So it was just a situation where maybe he got back to throttle just a touch too early, and the car just kept rotating, and off he goes.
So back to the battle for first place, a 4-way battle. As I mentioned just previously, before we had the Piszczek replay, Naselli has caught up to this train. He's been putting in some quick lap times. I mean, last time around, similar to pace to the other guys around him, but he has been slowly chipping away at them and catching, and just heading away from Van der Dormelen behind him, who's now been cut adrift from this lead pack. He's sitting down in 5th place. However, he's got Fritschner and Dudu Castro behind him for company in that battle, which you can just see them emerging. There you go, in the background. I mean, it's getting really, really tight, but Fritschner looking very racy here.
Yeah, I was just noticing Castro's lap times and his position. He seems to, again, to have a really strong hold on the front of this Spec 2 field. But Dantas and Dallo trying to keep him honest. They're still quite a bit of a ways back, close enough that they could, if with a good, really strong pit stop, they might become a factor in that race for the win in Spec 2.
Just also bring you up on the Masters race right now. Tom Gradwell is up into 14th as Elston's headed to a very early pit stop. That seems to be a little bit early from the Brit there, so maybe carrying a little bit of margin. We are 12 minutes in already, Bill. I don't know where that time has quite gone.
Yeah.
Already flying by us. Oh, I'm showing us the leaders have had some sort of incident. Maybe they just come off track briefly, but not too sure what's happened there. But yeah, Gradwell currently leading the Masters by quite a bit right now.
Yeah, Stevie Ray's not here today. He's at the actual Sports Car Club of America runoffs, which is the series that prompted the creation of this league. So he's actually spectating the Spec Racer Ford race there today. They had 84 cars qualify for that series, and they actually started 72 cars on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course today in that class, and Stevie Ray is there watching it all.
Wow, that would be an incredible spectacle. I mean, we sort of sometimes struggle here with 35, 40 drivers as this championship quite regularly sees, and you have action up and down the field, trying to keep an eye on 70. Nearly double the field side. I bet that is an absolute spectacle, and but equally a commentator's nightmare on where to look on how to get that one.
And I'll tell you, it's an oddity because normally sim races are considerably larger than their real-world counterparts. This is the first time I'm ever aware of a racing series where the real-world component was actually larger than a large league or a large championship in the sim world. It's really bizarre.
It's good to see, though, such a really well-supported series, though, as we've just, Jeff Fritschner, he's got past Castro, he's making moves, I think, but everyone just seems to be caught up and behind at the moment. The Dutchman, Van Dormelen, although is this about to change, though? Fritschner thinking twice. Obviously, he would have seen so many people have incidents into Remus, maybe looking to capitalise, but oh wow, that's going on. They are, look at it, they are slowly catching on this battling front four, who are scrobbling all over each other, scrambling. You can almost throw a blanket over them right now, Bill.
Yeah, Nom finally making the move. I didn't even see that happen. It was he was so slick about the whole thing, and we'll just see if he can pound down some quick laps now.
So here we go. Let's take a look at the replay of how he did it. You can see him, the third car in that train. He's gone to the inside in the run to Remus. He's going to have, obviously, that slipstream already. And there we go. He's got the move done ahead of the apex. Just slots it through.
That was surprising how big the draft is there on that straightaway. I mean, that was a huge push for him up to the front. I mean, just made it look super easy.
He did. He made it look like an absolute walk in the park, and it's equally. I'm sort of surprised with what ease Panera and Roseborough let him just come past him, knowing the form that Norm has got currently in this championship. I mean, he's won the championship 3 times previously. As things get a little bit tasty down the back end there, but Gradwell there, I think that's just losing a place to Cox as they entered into right there. Oh, something's happened to Nom.
Nom's off.
Oh no, because there's another car in the background there as well. Someone else is, who I'm trying to see who it was, has come off with him. I'm not too sure. Was it it was Roseborough.
It was Roseborough, yeah.
So this is on the run down to turn 1. Nicky Lauda curve. I'm in the lead. Has he got it onto the sauce? Oh no, there was a recovering car has sent everybody flying there Aero Gnome, the first to arrive at the seam, having to take evasive action and just losing the rear end, and that's stranded. I say it's 946. I think that might be Isle. Well, let's see what happened. Here we go. So we're going to ride on board with Aero Gnome. So this is what he will have seen. Completely unsighted, turns into the corner, and all of a sudden the car starts to move off. He did well to keep it out the wall there, Bill.
Yes, he did. That goes to show how well that guy has that car under control, that he was able to keep the car off the wall, no damage that I can see. And this is going to make this really interesting, because now we're going to see just, oh yeah, he does have damage in the rear though, but we're going to see just how fast this guy really is as he tries to make a recovery here.
So he has dropped roughly about 7 seconds from our now leader, Naselli, who came out victorious from the chaos down at Niki Lauda curve turn 1 and is now leading third round at Red Bull Ring. Pinheiro is in second, but what it has allowed is Van Dormelen to be elevated to third, but also he's now right in the fight for the lead. Roseborough as well, he's recovered a little bit. He is up to fourth, and Roseborough's tucked right up behind Van Dormelen. As also our leaders, the Sully's gone defensive to the inside, but Pinheiro has managed to get the move done. And effectively, Van Dormelen has replaced Aero Gnome in this group of top 4 cars.
If these guys are smart, Tim, they are not going to fight, because if they start fighting, Nom's going to be right back there with them really quick. So let's see if these guys will use their head here and just stay clear and pull away.
You can just about see in the background of your shot the black Ford Spec Racer of Aero Gnome. He's cut a little bit of drift. Fritcher and Castro are just in a little group between them, of which they'll be dragging each other along the straights. So Gnome just cut a bit of drift, and he's got all the work to do. He's going to be surely driving in anger right now, Bill, after losing the lead through no fault of his own. He's just carrying a little bit of damage just to the rear of his car as well. If it's the rear left, there you go. You can see it going through the camera now.
Yeah, I want to keep an eye on the gap, because if he has enough aero damage that it's slowing him down, his race pretty much can be over right here. This will be a real tell for this lap when he comes by, to see what has happened to the gap. If they're pulling away steadily, if he's losing top end because of that body damage, it'd be race over for him right now.
You say about that, but just looking at the gap, so when it happened, he was about 7.5 seconds down. That gap's already down to 6.5. That is versus the leader, Marco Pinheiro. Obviously, where he was battling Naselli, that has slowed them up ever so slightly. So, Aero Gnome, don't discredit him. There's every chance. We're just about to approach half race distance. Can't believe where that has gone quite already. Already 20 minutes in to round 3 at Red Bull Ring. And
yeah,
I wouldn't discredit him.
No, I just realized he picked up another 4/10 on that lap, even by himself. So yeah, he's got the speed in the car. He's got plenty of time, especially if he can pull off a really quick pit stop, which is kind of, I think, underrated in this series, how important it is to be fast in and out. That whole delta time in the pits is really critical. It can make the difference between 4 or 5 seconds on the racetrack.
It can do indeed, and we've got the action all up and down the field as Jamie McGuinness, who we ride on board right now with, he is chasing down Benjamin Foster, this for 15th place. You can feel the gap curve. So he's jinxed him to the left, he's headed to the right, looking to take that inside line down to Schlossgold and come hard onto the brakes. Forster just slamming the door shut and saying, no, not this time around, pal. You're not having not this side yet.
That's a really difficult place to pull that pass off. You have to be fully alongside, about 2/3 of the way down that straightaway to make that thing happen, because the outside is so much quicker than you can run it. Just rail the outside and keep your foot in the throttle.
I mean, Bill, obviously bringing your insight, what are these cars like on the brakes? You know, you're coming downhill into hard braking area. I mean,
the thing I like about this car more than anything is the off-throttle response of the car. It rotates incredibly well when you use the throttle to initiate rotation. Having said that, you have to be really careful on the brakes, because the car has so much rotation that you have to be really careful how quickly you drop the throttle when you're in a hard braking zone, because that will cause too much rotation.
Talk about hard braking zones, the run-up to Remus and Van Dormelen actually could end up losing out, where he looks to possibly pick a place off Nicelli. He's not been able to do it, and while these guys have been battling, that gap, look at it, it's the two cars behind them, which is Frischer and Castro. That gap is closing, and they are nearly up, and what was a 4-way battle for the lead is now a 6-way battle, and this guy, Aero Gnome, we were worried about his damage. The gap was 7.5 seconds. He's now down to under 5.5.
Yeah,
he is the man on a charge right now, Bill.
Indeed he is. He's picked up almost a second just in the last 2 laps. So those guys kind of beating on each other, or not literally, but you know, racing each other hard is playing right into his hands. I think this is going to be a really exciting finish with Nom involved in it.
It is. I'm sure he's going to be right at the sharp end come the end of 40 minutes. And I'm not even sure how you can even call what's going to happen between this top 6. Castro just lagging a little bit off the back of them. He is the Spec 2 category, so he is currently winning his league right now, with Dantas being the closest. He's down in 8th place, around about 10 seconds behind Castro. However, all it takes is one instant, like we saw a few laps ago at turn 1, and it can completely shape the outcome of this motor race. As, oh, just looking at that, Frischer, Bill, he's gone fastest. He set the fastest lap of the race so far, last time around, at 1:45.4. So
yeah, he had that big draft. All those cars ahead of him are pulling him along really quickly, so he's taking full advantage of that.
Look at how close he is getting there. That is with Rosberg, I think, to his left-hand side, and now he's on the attack as Fritcher fighting. He's having to keep hold of that place as Rosberg looking to fight his way back and just keep hold of that place. Last thing he wants is to be dropping off this top 3, battling with Fritcher.
Look at Nom now. He's taking a second out of these guys in that lap.
Wow. I keep, with all the battle that's happening over that top 6, it's hard to keep one eye on exactly what Nom is doing, but he's closing up bit by bit.
These guys are playing right into his hands, man. They're fighting each other, and it's going to end up costing them the race win if they don't watch out. I'm waiting to see somebody do an undercut here. In that front group, if they can time it right and come out with a clear track, it might not be a bad idea to go ahead and shoot for the pits and get out of this mess.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You said about it, Bill, and it is happening. So into the pits is Nicelli and Pinheiro. They are the first to blink off that top 6. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, they were never going to quit fighting each other, and that was a very smart move, in my opinion, to get out of there. Now, it depends on where they come out in traffic. If they come out behind some relatively quick cars and it takes them a while to get by, that's going to really hurt. But if these guys can get clean, if they get clean, the teammates out of there clean and work together, then we'll see some real action happen.
Talking of action, say Van Dormelen, he's taken the lead temporarily, but here comes Rosberg up the inside, and Fritcher is getting up the inside of Castro. Who's going to get the best traction out of this lot? They're going to head down now to Schlossgold. The run. It's getting
I'll tell
close.
you who it's going to be Nom. Nom's going to get the best traction.
I think he is. Look at that gap right now. What was a 7.5 second gap to the leader? After that turn 1 incident, it is now down to a second half, and he is sniffing. You can smell the exhaust fumes coming off the back of those 4 cars in front of him. And like you say, Bill, all this battling is just played right into his hands, and there he is. He is back up onto the back end of this group, and he's going up the inside. Fritcher's looking vulnerable. There you go. There is one. Now he's going to attack the back of 73. Castro, who's having an absolutely amazing race within the Spec 2 series. I think it's...
Indeed. I think Fritcher let him by, and he's going to try to follow him through. I'm pretty sure that's what I just saw Fritcher
There we go. That's Van. I think that was Van. No, it was Rosberg. I think is peeled off. Yeah, there we go. He's peeled off into the pits now. Keep 1 eye on Panero and Naselli. They're currently down in 13th and 14th. The first of those two drivers, the teammates, to break off from that lead group of, well, what is now effectively 7 now. Norma's joined them back up in that battle after that earlier incident.
Look at the lap times of the guys in front of them, though. They're quick, and they're going to have trouble getting by those guys if they want to make it hard for them, because the guys in front of them are really close to their same race pace, and it's going to be difficult for them to get some quick laps down.
It is, but there we go. Roseborough's beaten them out. There you go. So he's got ahead of Panero and Naselli. They are all line of cert on track right now, but he has eked out a bit of a gap over Panero. But right now, so Dudu Castro somehow has found himself at the front of this train. Spec 2 category guy is currently leading here at Red Bull Ring tonight. And I don't think anyone would have expected that one. I know, obviously, the pit stops are going to play a little part of this. But look, Aeronom just looming in the background there. He's in 3rd place. He's got Van Dormelen in front of him, who's in 2nd place as they're coming up to one of the back markers there. But they're not too far from the end of the lap as they come down to right now. Who are we going to see peel off into the pit lane, if any of them, Bill? There we go. There's
your answer.
There we go.
All three of them going.
All heading into the pits.
So, and again, forgive me as I'm new to the broadcast. Does it show the pit stop times on our output anywhere? Because that's what I've been looking for. It does.
So it's down. You can see down at the bottom of the screen right now. Drivers how long they're taking in the pits. Dudu Castro still in the lead here at Red Bull Ring, but yet to take his pit stop. The guys to keep an eye on, who we're looking at right now, Roseborough, Panero and Naselli, they're up to 8th place, and as the cars have been taking to the pits as our leaders, well, original pack of 3, they've all now heading out, but look, there you go, the power of the undercut is shown here tonight. You asked about it earlier, Bill, and there you go, it's just shown that Aeronome, all that hard work is going to feel a bit undone, as now I think he's about 5 seconds off Panero and Roseborough at the lead of this group, as I think Panero's got past Roseborough. Yep. So he's going to initially take the lead, obviously with the 4 cars in front of them yet to take their stops, Bill.
Yep, and 5 seconds back is Tom. You're right. And what I was looking for, Tim, was the total time they spent in the pits as a comparison to each other, because it seems like Nom was in the pits for an exceptionally long time.
So he wasn't actually the slowest of the drivers, so he was in the pits for 45.2 seconds. Now, of our lead bunch, the quickest was Roseborough, 41.6 seconds.
Yeah,
however, in comparison though, Panero, who is effectively, after you've allowed for pit stops, in the lead, he was in the pit lane for 44 seconds, so only about 2.5 seconds, well, just under 2.5 seconds slower.
That's a long time, Tim. 2.5 seconds on these cars is a lot of time, but I doubted Nom earlier when he had the damage. You know, I got to keep my eyes on this guy because he seems to get it done no matter what.
But having said that, obviously, despite that gap of 2 seconds in pit lane time, Errol Nom he's a bit further back than he would have liked. He's around about 4.5 seconds behind Roseborough, Panero and Naselli, that little group at the front. And Darlow in the pits there. So your top 2 drivers, Castro and Favini, the Swede, they are yet to stop. Other than that, everybody else has taken their pit stop. And I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see where Dudu Castro comes out tonight. After he takes his pit stop, you can see the gap at the front there. He's got right about a 26-second lead. Now, if you take a 44-second pit transition time, that is probably going to bring him out somewhere, I'd say round about Andalo and Sadro, who are down in 10th and 12th place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to lose the Spec 2 lead here, it looks like.
It is, and you can see that definitely the undercut was the most powerful move here, the Red Bull rig. And just look to Castro. Does he head in? Yes, he does. So it's only Favini who's a further 25 seconds down the road, who's yet to take a pit stop. Let's see what Castro can do. Obviously, he's going to have less fuel to put in, where he stopped much later than all the guys behind him. They were stationary for around about 11 seconds-ish. Actually, interestingly, Roseborough was only stationary for 9 seconds. But...
That's Favini coming in. Yep, the current leader coming in.
There we go. So, yeah, Roseborough stopped, was one of the first guys to stop, but yet has got the shortest amount of time that he was actually stationary for at 9 seconds. And has he underfueled that car potentially? I don't know, but I think we'll find out for definitely in only 8 minutes' time as we come to a close.
It's hard to believe we've almost gone 40 minutes.
I know, over half an hour already. Like I said, I don't know where that has gone quite, Bill. It's been absolutely mad here tonight on Apex Racing TV. And yeah. I think it's going to get even madder, as you can see, less than a second covering our top 3.
Yep. Noam's got a big pull here. He's got 4 seconds he's got to close up. You know, I hate to even question the guy, but man, that's a big ask right there. If those guys work together at the front, it's going to be difficult. But man, he's proven me wrong already several times in this race.
It's around about, it's going to have about 3 or 4 laps left, so he needs to be knocking about a second a lap out of this top 3. But as the late great Murray Walker said, catching some people is one thing, but passing them is another thing as well.
Yeah, on the last lap, Noam did a 45.3 and the leader did a 46.2, so he's almost a second.
It's getting close. It's going to be really, really tight for Aero Noam. Can he get the move done? I tell you what, it's going to be driver of the day if he manages to pull this one out somehow.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. That will be huge if he actually gets these guys.
But as it looks at the moment, it looks like for the first time this season, we're going to have a new race winner here in the 3rd round at Red Bull Ring, as Pinero setting his fastest lap of the race so far last time around. He's definitely got the push on in 1st place. Tom Gradwell still leading in the Masters class. He's down in 19th place currently, but just in front of him is Paolo Brent and Ian Gibson.
What happened to Dantas? I mean, I thought that race between Castro and Dantas was going to be really close with the split delta for Castro, but he's well ahead, 10 seconds up the road.
Yeah, we've seen great battles. I mean, Dantas did seem to lose out quite a bit around the pit stops in terms of the amount of time. And but having said that, you know, we've seen on pace, he has been battling around about with Flavio Andalo, his fellow countryman, who's in 10th place. So based on previous form this season, Castro, you know, 6th place is a good result and where he probably would have expected to be. But the biggest loser for me, it's got to be Van Dormelen. He's down in 7th place and drops right off the back of this. You know, he was in the lead at one point while they were all fighting out one another. So it just goes to show the undercut that Pinero, Roseborough and Naselli, you know, pulled off was absolutely spectacular, and it's definitely the tactic for tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And then the fact that they're working together, because if you look at their lap times now, they all just went much quicker than their previous lap. So I think they finally got in line, and they're just racing to the last lap now, trying to stay away from Nom and fight it out amongst themselves at the end.
Nom, you can see just in the background there, he's got Jeff Richer for company. That's the last thing that Aero Nom want right now, is to be having to defend and losing time to this top 3.
Fritzer goes purple on that lap, so he's really laying it down.
Wow. Definitely making the moves. And for once, Aero Nom is looking vulnerable as Jeff Richer, here he comes. Nom's kept to that left-hand side. We're going to see Fritcher jinx out to the right. They come hard on the brakes up to Remus. And Fritcher just thinking again this time around. I mean, for these guys, they're running out of time, really, if they wish to catch up with this battle for the lead. I mean,
yeah, just 3 minutes. So what is that? Is that going to be 2 laps to go? Is that what we're looking at?
So we're looking at 1 minute 45 lap. This is at least 2 laps. I don't think they will manage to get around quick enough to squeeze out the 3rd lap. Oh no, that's Van Dorman! Wow!
Almost threw it away.
After such a strong race that has allowed Castro to get through and into some...
It almost makes me wonder if he's got damage on that car that we can't see, because he's slowed way down and he's having real problems controlling the car. So he may have hit the curb and picked up some damage we can't see.
Yeah, it could be some floor damage potentially, but while that's going on, Roseborough is toying with Panero, and in terms of tactics, Bill, how do you play this one out? Obviously, we've seen the power of the slipstream on the long drag up the... Oh no! Naselli's gone!
No, it's not. It's Roseborough.
Oh, sorry, no, it is Roseborough. Sorry, apologies about that one.
Spins that downhill. You can't see it on the video. You can't see it very well, but that's a huge downhill. It's really steeply downhill, and he got in just a little too hot and lost the car. I've done that myself here several times, because the cars really accelerate down that hill quickly.
Oh no!
That opened everything up. Panero's got this thing nailed.
Wow, has he? Because here comes Fritcher. He's on the attack. Can he get the move done? No, he's not quite close enough. As I'm just trying to look, I don't think they took the white flag that time around, so I think they will have one more lap potentially to get the move done. But this is just making Panero's life so much more easier. He's now got a gap of over a second to Naselli in second place. Aeronome not really able to capitalise from losing Roseborough from that group, and if anything, I'm sure Nom would have wanted Roseborough to stay in there, because it would encourage that top 3 to fight, and that would have been his best chance of trying to make 3 wins for free. Yeah,
absolutely. That was the worst case scenario for Nom and Fritzer, who I'm sure was hoping to get up there with those guys when they started fighting. So opened things up quite a bit, but hey, no lack of action in this one, man. We can't complain a bit about that. I mean, the time has flown by because we just had furious battles all the way through. Really good stuff.
Yeah, we will have, I believe, 1 more lap to go. Panero will take the white flag as he comes across the start-finish straight. Here we go. It's all or nothing now. Naselli is closing. He's got that gap down to 0.8 of a second. He's going to have the drive on the long run up the hill to Remus. Here we go, everyone. Naselli versus Panero. Although you can't discredit them just behind them, as Fritcher has got past Nom just off camera. He's managed to get that done somehow. And wow, he's more than got it done. Look at the gap he's pulled on Nom already.
I think Nom may be out of fuel.
It's well, him and I think it was Roseborough did stop for a short amount, the shortest amount of time. So possibly just having to put some fuel saving in on these last couple of laps. But Jeff Fritcher, I think coming in tonight, he would have taken a 3rd place with 2 hands. But look,
Naselli is trying, man. He's trying to get there.
He is throwing everything in, but I think he's just going to run out of time here, Bill. I can't see how he's going to get it done, and that gap has slightly extended out. So he's just come through Roush and now through Worth for the last time. This is all about Panero now, just stroking it home. Just guiding that car home, just everything, just not putting a foot wrong. Hitting all his apexes and exits. But we've seen it. It could go everything down to the last corner. We've seen it in round 1 at Tsukuba. Overtakes on the last corner, but no. Panero wins at the Red Bull Ring in week 3 of the SRF Weekend Warriors. Naselli comes home 2nd, and Fritcher comes home 3rd. A spectacular result for him. Aeronome having to, well, you could say having to settle for 4th, but what a brilliant recovery drive from him after looking down. No. So he's finished 4th. Dudu Castro, wow, from him. 5th place, absolutely spectacular. Van Dormelen 6th, Roseborough's come across the 7th, Elson 8th, Dantas is in 9th, and then Sadro. That's an amazing drive from him. We saw lap 1 at turn 1, he was pointing in the wrong direction. And Dan Sadro, the American, has dragged his car from dead last at turn 1 on lap 1 to come home in 10th. And Bill, we've hardly spotted, actually, to be fair, Sadro cutting his way through the field because we just had so much action going on at the front.
Yeah. I hope that we can get Dan into the interview room because I'd love to hear his thoughts on the drive, because Dan and I have done a lot of endurance racing together. I know him pretty well, and I'd really like to hear his comments about how that came about. So hopefully we'll get him in the box. But wow, what great racing. Kind of anticlimactic at the end with Pinero getting that gap due to the spin from Roseborough, but man, lots of action through that one. I knew this track was going to give us a good race, and it certainly did.
Well, welcome to the series, Bill, and what an introduction here at Apex Racing TV. If you want to stay up to date with everything that's going on here at Apex Racing TV, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at Apex Racing TV. Facebook, facebook.com/Apex Racing TV. And on Instagram, you can search for Apex Racing TV, funnily enough, and find us and follow us on there. And to be fair, I've hardly had a chance to even check the chat on YouTube, as it's all, I'm sure you guys have been witnessing what has been an absolute spectacle here at the Red Bull Ring. We're just waiting. I think if we had everyone come across the line. There we go. Oh, that's qualifying. Here we go. So there are your race results. Bill, do you want to take us through them?
Sure. The winner, Marco Pinero, and man, the undercut was huge here this evening, and he used it to full effect to bring home the win. A little bit of help from one of his race mates there, but he looked good all the way through. Maurizio Naselli coming home second after a really strong battle all the way through the race. Jeff Fritcher with a really good result, getting by Aero Num on the last lap. Num coming home fourth. Dudu Castro in the 5th spot, first in Spec 2. Tim Van Dormelen in 6th. Rosenborough, who I believe was the car that spun out of 2nd place, finishes 7th. Stephen Elson in 8th. Evandro Dantas 9th and 2nd in Spec 2. Dan Sadro, man, what a recovery drive from dead last on the first lap, brings it home 10th. Flavio Andallo in 11th. Jory Cox in 12th, Benjamin Forrester 13th, Edgar Sancinelli in 14th, James McGuinness 15th, John Tusting 16th, Ian Gibson 17th, Jeff Jacobson in 18th. 19th and first in Masters, Tom Gradwell brings the car 909 home in 19th. Mr. Misurek in 20th, Paolo Breme in 21st, Paul Jackson 22nd, Andrea Favini 23rd, Darren Kewen, I believe, in 24th, Jesus Rodriguez in 25th, Artur Lorerio, forgive me, Artur, killing that, 26th, Gianni Longhin Nanini in 27th, Robert Heil in 28th, Jason Perry 29th, Bill Pitchek 30th, Aiden Campbell 31st, Ed Doherty 32nd, Simon Mayer 33rd, Jose Santiago 34th, and Rick Camara 35th. And 23 laps down, so he was out pretty early. And we have the demo derby going on, I believe, right now. That's right. That's another feature of this series that's unique, the demo derby after each race.
That is right. As is tradition here at SRF Weekend Warriors, they have a demolition derby after everyone has crossed the line. There's been a light relief after what has been some incredibly close racing, and maybe even take out some frustration on your fellow competitors. But it's all good fun and all in the good spirits that is this championship. And wow, it's been absolutely spectacular. Bill, your first time out. What was your favourite moment from the race?
I have to say it was calling the undercut correctly. I hate to be selfish, but that was, I mean, I was like, man, if I was these guys in the front, I would not be doing this. I would go straight to the pits. And so just to see that undercut work so well for them was really a highlight for me, because in a long race like this, it's really important to understand where you are in the field and what you can do with your pit stop. And those guys used it to full effect. So for me, that was the move of the race, was those guys going in at the perfect time to get the race win.
For me, it's hard to say, really. I mean, you've got to feel for Brandon Roseborough, looking, really strong in 7th place, and then just losing it out of the last corner that is at Red Bull Mobile, and all of a sudden, second place on the podium, coming home in 7th, he's going to be absolutely mortified by that one. But Jeff Richer, what a drive from him. As I mentioned earlier, I think, if you said to Jeff before the race today, you're going to finish, on the podium, I think he would have taken that with 2 hands and, snatched your hand off to have that one. Oh, yeah. So for that to achieve, absolutely brilliant drive from the American there. But I think driver of the day, for me, has got to go to Dan Sadro. I mean, I know we said, just as the race was coming to an end, how he, we've hardly mentioned him, but to come from dead last at the end of lap 1 to come home in 10th, it's absolutely spectacular from him.
Yeah, that was definitely the recovery drive of the race, and arguably the drive of the race for sure. You gotta hand it to Pinero. That guy drove a really smart race. He made the right decisions at the right time, and then he didn't make any mistakes when he was out front. That really came to make all the difference there for him.
I think it's definitely one of the drives of the day, but possibly even goes down as potentially a contender for drive of the season, that one from Sadro, and it'd be great to see how he gets on with that one. And just to sort of round things out, unfortunately no one's popped into the interview green room, so we won't be hearing from any of our drivers tonight, but big thank you's got to go to the guys over at RaceVoice for sponsoring this, as they always do for the SRF Weekend Warriors series. Now, if you haven't had enough race action for your evening, you can head across to the other side on Apex Racing TV, where the IGP Fun F3 series is Suzuka for round 3 currently. Our colleagues Austin Knight and Marco Barbanera are covering that one right now. And then around about 4 hours time, we have the XSLR NASCAR Next Gen Cup. They are at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for that one, so that's going to be one to check out. And then tomorrow night, we have got the Ritmatech Classic Sprint Series. That's round 9 at Imola. And then obviously the IndyCar Open Series. That's round 4 at Nashville. So plenty of action up and coming here on Apex Racing TV. So I think that just leaves to say, after an absolutely spectacular race here at Red Bull Ring, from myself, Bill and Jonathan, thank you and good night.